All right, good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's a lovely sunny day here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And I hope you guys are doing well. So 45-minute Pilates class. You're just going to need your resistance band today, and we'll keep it pretty simple, but get a great workout in. So just set your resistance band to the side and go ahead and lay back. Oh, and you'll notice I'm in a new space, which is really exciting. We've been working on finishing our basement and putting in a home studio, and finally got to the point, it's not 100% finished, but got to the point where it's clean enough and done enough that I could actually move my equipment down here. So it's a little more clean and open and bright and beautiful, and I'm super excited to have this space now. It makes life a little bit easier. So let's go ahead and get started. Lay back. And we'll start like we normally do. Ooh, it's a little chilly down here. It's cold on my back. And we'll start as we normally do with our breathing. So go ahead and lengthen your legs out in front of you. Hands on your rib cage. Relax your shoulders down so you're not feeling any tension in those shoulders or those hip flexors. Middle fingers gently touching. And we're going to take some deep breaths here. So thinking about the thoracic breathing, breathing into the ribs, not the belly, or allowing those or the shoulders to raise. We take a deep inhale through the nose, breathing into the front, back, and sides of the ribs, and exhale through the mouth. Rib cage draws down. Again, deep inhale, and exhale. Continue. Deep inhale. Really trying to focus on getting the breath into the back as well so you can loosen up all those joints where the rib cage and the vertebra meet. And exhale. Again, deep inhale. Shoulders stay down. And exhale. One more time. Deep breath in. And exhale. And hold. Good. So as you exhaled, you should have really felt the rib cage draw down. And now, right now, my ribs are squared over the hips. So they're not popping out in front. The back of my ribs are making contact with the mat. Okay. That is what our neutral position is. And I will be referring to it often. From here, bend your knees, feet flat, but try not to activate your hip flexors and don't jam your lower back into the mat. Keep your tailbone nice and weighted here, okay? Imagine like you've got rocks sitting in your tailbone and the rocks are weighting down that tailbone. And then from here, I want you to imagine for a moment you have a bowl of water sitting on your pubic bone. Okay, so when you have a little bit of natural curve under that lower back and that tailbone is heavy, that bowl of water is level. From here, I really want you to tighten and scoop up the lower abdominals here. So I like to use the imagery that you have a string, one on each or tied to each hip, okay, or one string, the ends tied to each hip. And I want you to think about trying to create that nice taut string, so tightening that up. Okay, that should create that scooping up in sensation. From here, we're going to go into our pelvic tilts, coming from the abdominals, not by firing the hip flexors, okay, or pushing into the feet. Take an inhale, we're in that neutral spine, the bowl of water is level, and I'm just using my hands here to give you that image. Exhale, using your abdominals, scoop the belly out, and draw that lower back gently down towards the mat. Bowl of water drains into the belly button. Inhale, back to neutral, bowl of water is level. Exhale, bowl of water drains into the belly button. Inhale, neutral, bowl of water is level, natural curve under that lower back. And exhale, tilting. So continue to just kind of rock back and forth by, again, that scooping up and in sensation is what we're focusing on. Not what I see a lot is people start to they lift the tailbone off because they're over jamming and they're firing their hip flexors. So just a few more times, just rocking back and forth, loosening up that pelvis. And then find neutral and hold here. Bring your arms down to your sides, palms up towards the ceiling to help encourage the shoulders to open. Back of the ribs are down on the mat without jamming your lower back in. Take an inhale, scoop the belly out, exhale, one leg up to tabletop. Inhale, exhale, other leg to tabletop. Hopefully you didn't notice a big bulging of your belly as you brought those legs up, going into our toe taps. Inhale, tap, exhale, up. Inhale, tap, exhale, up. and just continuing to alternate and keeping that pulling up and in sensation. That's engaging our deep abdominal muscles, our transversus abdominal muscles, which is essentially our built-in corset that keeps our belly nice and flat. For 2, exhale up, and 1, exhale up. Good. From here, we're going to add on a little bit. Bring your arms up over your shoulders. And from here, I'm going to have you tap your left toes down while you raise your right hand overhead. And exhale back up. Inhale, tap the right toes, left hand extends behind you. Exhale up. And we tap and up. Trying to maintain that neutral spine so you're not tucking the tailbone under here. Okay? Really trying to focus on that mindful movement. Pilates is all about these tiny little differences. So it makes a big difference when I'm in neutral spine versus when I'm jamming my back in and kind of starting to peel my tailbone off. For 4, and up. For 3, and up. Tummy's tight. 2, and last 1. Hold here. Bring your hands behind your head, elbows wide. Really, for me, even just by having me and myself in this position with my arms, I feel a big pectoral stretch, which is really good. And try to keep those shoulder blades and those elbows glued down. You're going to inhale, allow the knees and feet to tip to one side. And don't let the knees come all the way down to the mat. Let them hover, maybe 12 inches. Oops, I'm going to move this. Maybe 12 inches off the ground, and keep that opposing shoulder down. So really feel that stretching of the pecs, that chest, as well as the mobilizing of the spine. Exhale back to center. And we inhale, twist to the other side. And exhale back to center. So we're doing this nice and controlled here, and we're not swinging our legs. Do your best to keep your knees glued together if possible. And center. The first time I do this during the day, I always feel all those lovely little cracks in my back, which is, again, the vertebra loosening up, so allowing me to mobilize and move it properly. Let's do one more. Twisting, keeping that opposing shoulder down, and center. And then go ahead and release those feet back down to the mat. Hands down by your sides. Just put this here. And again, palms up towards the ceiling. Think about trying to kind of lengthen out of the top of the head for a moment so you feel that lengthening in the neck. Feet are hip width apart. Now, a lot of times people have this super wide stance because we think our hips are wider than they are. So I literally want your knees in line with your hips, not wider than, okay? Toes pointing directly forward. Make sure your heels are fairly close to your booty. You're in that neutral spine. Take an inhale, scoop the belly out, exhale, tilting the pelvis, and continuing to tilt and curl up one vertebra at a time, coming to the top. Now hold here for a moment. Take a moment to look at me and notice that I'm not leading with my ribs and I'm not popping my ribs straight up. Okay, I'm keeping my ribs squared down. Okay. My ribs are lifted off the mat, but again, there's not this arch of the back here. Think about trying to touch your knees to the wall or whatever might be in front of you and simultaneously squeeze your butt from the back. You should feel this nice lengthening in the front of the body, in the front of the legs. Take an inhale. Exhale, sinking in the sternum. Bring the back of the ribs down. Middle back, lower back, and tailbone. Inhale, we always find that neutral spine between reps. Exhale, tailbone under, and we articulate up. Think about lengthening out the top of the head to help alleviate any neck tension. Don't arch the back as we squeeze the glutes to lift the hips, and we exhale, we articulate down, peeling one vertebra at a time. Inhale, neutral spine. Exhale, tailbone under, and we articulate up, squeezing that booty. Inhale at the top, and exhale, articulate down. Inhale, neutral spine. Exhale, tailbone under, and articulate up. Let's do a few more. Inhale at the top. Exhale, really slow it down. And again, think of your spine like a sticker, a Band-Aid you're peeling off and on the mat. Inhale, we're going to do one more. Really, on this last one, I challenge you to pay attention to what's happening with your knees. As you articulate up, are your knees wanting to pull in towards one another? Correct that. Okay, don't let that happen. Inhale at the top. And exhale, articulate down, 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 and down. Good. Go ahead from here. Let's glue those feet, ankles, and knees, thighs together. So it's like you have one leg. Just a gentle squeeze here. You don't have to try to kill. Okay, I don't want you to overactivate the adductors or the groin or the inner thighs too much. That will happen naturally if you're doing things correctly. So relax the shoulders. We don't want to carry any tension anywhere. Scoop the belly up and out. So I want you to maintain that neutral spine. Take an inhale. Exhale, squeeze your glutes to lift your hips up into that bridge position. Again, trying to think about pushing your knees forward to touch that wall in front of you to create that length and squeezing from the back. Tummy is tight to prevent that arching of the back. Inhale, we tap. Exhale, squeeze, lift. Inhale, tap. Exhale, squeeze, lift. Down and up. So you should really feel those adductors, your inner thighs, really working to try to keep those legs squeezing together as you squeeze up, because they naturally kind of want to come apart a little bit. So trying to activate those inner thighs as you squeeze and lift from the back side. Now, if you're feeling this more in the hamstrings and the back of the legs, scoot your heels a little closer to your booty, okay? Now, if you have your heels further away, it's not wrong per se. It's not a bad thing. It's good to work the hip flexors, or excuse me, the hamstrings. But right now I want you to focus on your inner thighs and your glutes more. We'll do a little more we'll do more hamstring stuff in a little bit. For 5, and tap. Tummy stays tight. 4, and 3, 2, last one. Hold it up here. Let's do some little pulses. Try to keep those thighs glued together. So you're at your highest point and try to just go a little higher, so it's an extra squeeze from the back. For 8, and 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, hold it up. Take a deep inhale. Exhale. Articulate down, one vertebra at a time, releasing into that neutral position. Good. From here, go ahead and grab your band and have it nearby, because we will transition into it. Okay. From here, go ahead and bring your hands up over your shoulders, palms face towards your knees, neutral spine. So again, make sure you haven't tucked your tailbone under and you're not jamming your back in. Broaden through your collarbone and make sure that your shoulder blades are feeling flat against the mat here, so they're not rolling up away from the floor. Okay, tummy is tight. Take an inhale. Exhale, we're going to start to bring those arms down, and we're going to also tuck the chin to come up. Now, as you come up, what again a lot of people do, they tuck the tailbone under and they start to lift it off and jam their lower back in. Your lower back might make contact with the mat, but it's not because you're tucking your tailbone under. It's because you're finding flexion in the upper body. So keep the tailbone grounded. Don't tuck. Took me a long time to retrain my body not to do that. Okay, so try to keep weight in that tailbone. Inhale, we bring it down. Exhale, we come up, trying to glide the ribs down to meet the hips. And inhale back. And exhale up. Inhale back. And exhale up. For 2. And up. Last one. And up. Hold. Place your hands behind your thighs. Okay, and then use your arms a little bit to bring yourself up a little higher. So you're scooping that belly up and out, and think about broadening through your collarbone so you feel like you're holding a big globe or something between your arms. Okay, from here, take an inhale. Exhale, one leg comes up. Inhale, exhale, other leg comes up. Okay, and then from here, go ahead and bring your hands behind your head and try not to let, as you release your hands, try not to let your upper body release down. Try to use your abdominals to maintain that amount of flexion that you initially found with your hands behind your thighs. From here, we're going to inhale, tap your right toes down, upper body comes down. Exhale, we crunch up as that leg comes back up. And we inhale, tap, and exhale, up. Inhale, tap. Exhale, up. Really trying to scoop that belly up and out to prevent that bulging. Okay, again, that was another thing. It took me a while to learn and to retrain how to engage the deepest core muscles that prevent from creating that bigger bulge of the belly. For 4, exhale, up. For 3, exhale, up. For 2, and last one, hold. Now from here, you're going to place your hands on your right shin. Okay, right hand on top, left hand closer down towards your ankle, and you're going to extend that left leg out nice and long, hovering it off the mat. Now again, pull that upper body maybe just another inch or so off the mat using your arms. And from here, we switch. Switch. Now hold for just a second. I want you to simultaneously press your shin into your thigh or into your hands and your hands into your shin. So you create that resistance. So it's the stronger, it creates that more scooping of the belly. And we switch. And switch. Pressing into the shin. Shin presses into the hands. You feel that resistance. By just doing that, it should activate the abdominals even more. For 4. And 3, 2, and 1. Hold. Extend whatever leg you're holding towards the ceiling. Try to grab around the shin or the calf muscle. And again, pull yourself up a little more. Create that resistance. Pull the leg away while pulling the hands toward, or push that leg into the hands and press the hands into the leg. From here, we pull, pull, switch. Pull, pull, switch. So going into these scissors. You should feel a nice stretch down the hamstrings for 4, 3, 2, scoop out the belly, and 1. Both legs come up. Bend the knees, release the feet, and head down. Good. Go ahead from here and take a nice long-bodied stretch. Excellent. All right, let's go ahead and incorporate. I'm going to make a better transition. Keep the band where it is. We're going to get a little extra exercise in here to transition. So go ahead and place your hands behind your thighs or behind your knees and just kind of roll a few times back and forth onto your spine and then come up to a seated position. Okay, now from here, okay, I want you to sit up on those sit bones, which is the bony part of your butt. You got 2 of them, one side and then the other, okay? So sitting up tall, and then go ahead and bring your legs up so you're in this boat position. Okay, now from here, I want you to, we'll start with the simple rolling like a ball. So I want you to kind of lift those elbows up a little bit so they're not tight against the sides. Like again, you're kind of hugging that tree or globe so everything's kind of broad and very open with the chest. Scoop the belly out. So again, kind of simultaneously press the hands into the thighs or the back of the thighs, whatever you want to call it, knees, and press the legs into the hands. So that creates, hopefully, that kind of scooping up and out. Now, really try to round out here because we're going to roll like a ball, so we want to make our body like a ball. So you're going to roll back to the shoulders, no higher, and come up and try to balance on the sit bones. And roll back and up. So what I really like about rolling like a ball, or anytime we're doing this type of move, you might have to tap those toes down, and that's okay, is it helps you identify where you have stiff places in your back, places that aren't flexing or mobilizing like they should because it's like rolling on a flat tire. Let's do 2 more. And last one, scooping the belly up and out, hold. We're gonna add on. Now, I kind of moved forward, so I'm just gonna scooch myself back a little bit so I don't roll out of the picture. All right, now, you can stay with that if that was enough of a challenge. Otherwise, we're gonna add on a little bit. Now, I want you to, again, push your hand into your thigh, into your shin, excuse me guys, and vice versa. Other leg extends out. Now, again, we're trying to scoop up and in, so by pushing and creating that resistance against the hands and leg, you create this kind of pulling up and in sensation. So from here, again, we tilt the pelvis to roll back, and we try to balance up on those sit bones. And we roll back, and we balance on the sit bones. Oop. And you might have to touch that toe down like I did, or that foot down, to find that balance. And this is kind of a prerequisite to open leg rocker. Let's do one more on this side. Hold on the sit bones. Went too far. And switch sides. Again, create that resistance. Broaden through your collarbone. Scoop your belly out. And we roll back and up, balancing. And we roll back and up. Let's do two more. For two, try not to lift the head. Try to tuck the tailbone under to initiate the roll. And up. Come back to a boat position. Release your feet. And sit up. Now, go ahead and grab your resistance band. Place the resistance band around the feet. Okay. And I'm going to have you keep your knees bent. So press into the heels so that the toes kind of draw back towards you. Start by sitting up nice and tall here. So again, you're balancing on your sit bones. You should feel the back kind of having to work to find that tall position. So a lot of times I see people sit like this. They're like, oh, I'm sitting up. No. Really try to think about lifting up. A good way to practice this is sitting up against a wall. So if you're able to, where you're at in your home, if there's a wall nearby and you can still see me, or you can move your phone or whatever you're watching me on, do it and put your tailbone, okay, your butt, the back of your shoulders, and the back of your head against the wall. That is proper upright posture. Okay, and a lot of people are shocked to see and how difficult that is to sit in that position because we're so used to just slumping and slouching. So practice that proper posture. Make sure that head is centered on the spine. Okay, and then you're going to want a medium amount of resistance. This is a medium amount of resistance band. If you have a lighter one, you might want to choke up more. Okay, so we're starting up tall, shoulders down. Take an inhale, think about lengthening up even more in the spine. Exhale, tailbone tucks under, and we roll back, trying to get to maybe the point where your lumbar is flat against the mat. And then from here, I want you to pull back and forward, and then roll up over those thighs. My legs straightened. If yours are bent, that's okay. And stack back up. And if you want to bend your knees again, you may. Exhale, tailbone comes under. We roll back as far as you feel comfortable, activating the abdominals, scooping the belly out. We pull the resistance band back without lifting the shoulders into the ears. Think about the back muscles. And we come forward, scooping forward over those thighs. And we inhale, stacking up. Exhale, we curl under and roll back, and we pull the band back. Let the arms come forward. Exhale, scooping up and out, rounding. And we inhale, stack it up. Let's do one more like this. Exhale, coming back. And we pull. Take an inhale. Exhale, scooping up and out. Inhale, stacking up to a flat back. All right, we're going to add on a little bit. So I'm going to choke or come closer to the ends of mine because I want less resistance. So I recommend you're going to want a little less resistance than what you just had. And go ahead and again, bend your knees if you need to sit up nice and tall. And then from here, you're going to come back and you're going to do your best to open your arms straight out to the side. And then come center, hold your body where it is. I'll tilt this way so you guys can see. So you're gonna tilt to the side. You're gonna keep your sit bones grounded. So you're not lifting your hip off. Okay, you're just kind of twisting and you open, I like to say, the newspaper, and we come center. And we open the newspaper and come center. So we're trying to scoop the belly up and out while we're working and activating the back muscles to draw the band out. Really be careful that you're not using your shoulders and neck, okay? It should be the back. Think about drawing the scapula down the back for 4 and 3, 2 and 1. Hold center. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, scooping up and out. We come over the thighs and we inhale, stack it up to a beautiful flat back. Good. We're going to continue on with this kind of movement, but we're just going to add a little bit of bicep work. So you're going to want to probably, depending again, if you have a really light resistance band, you might want a little bit closer to the feet. Mine is as strong as I would want it for Pilates. So I'm going to come to the ends. Sit up nice and tall, and again, bend your knees if you need to. Take an inhale, think about lengthening. Exhale, tuck the tailbone under and begin to roll back, okay? Holding there. Now from here, I want those arms to come out in front, palms towards the ceiling. Now I'm not shoulders up in the ears. Broadening through the collarbone, so important. Imagine your elbows are sitting on a countertop, so they're not way down by your waist or by your hips, okay? They're a little bit higher, and they aren't gonna move. It's just a hinging of the elbow, not lowering and lifting of the elbow. So from here, you're gonna draw your palms towards your shoulders, squeezing the bicep, and inhale, release. Exhale, squeeze, inhale, out. So we're working our biceps while we work our abdominals here. Make sure you're not leading with your chin and straining your neck. Allow your head to kind of come back to be centered over the spine. For 5 and 4, 3, 2, and 1. Arms straight. Exhale. We roll up. I'm kind of just adding this on, bringing those arms back behind you. Hold in that forward fold. Bring your arms forward. Keep the back of the hands to touch. Flip the palms forward or towards one another and stack the spine. So that would have been like a rowing. I just kind of added that on. All right, cool. Let's set the band to the side for a moment. And let's come down onto our side. And make sure that I'm going to have you come in a nice long position, so as if you were standing, okay? So make sure like your back, your feet, and everything are all in this kind of perfect line before we begin anything else, okay? Now, from here, go ahead and hinge at your hips a little bit to bring those feet maybe towards the corner of your mat. I'm going to move that. So that just kind of makes it a little easier for balance, right? But my back, okay, is still in neutral. So my back, I'm not slumped forward. I'm not curling forward. Now, while we're doing this, you're going to be tempted, and you can for a moment, if you need to look down kind of at your feet to see what's going on, you can, but don't keep your chin tucked this entire time. That's not what we want for the neck. We want to practice that neutral position. So what we're going to do from here, I need you to press that top leg or top hip away from your shoulder. Okay, away from that top shoulder. What that does is it will create some space under the waist. That mouse house I refer to it as. Really important. Keep that there. Another way to look at it is it's like you're trying to push your top foot on the pedal or gas pedal, and keep that there. It helps create this lift, which helps create that neutral spine instead of letting the waist dip, and then you've got a curved spine. So press up and out. That's one of the challenging parts of this. Okay. Now, from here, and if you feel like you're having trouble balancing, you can bend the bottom leg if necessary, okay? But I challenge you to try maybe a little bit. If you're wobbling all over the place, then bend the bottom leg, but do your best to try to maintain that kind of long position. So top hip is down. Front hand in front of the chest so that it's helping with the balance. From here, point and lengthen through that top leg, and we're gonna lift it to about hip height. Don't go so high. A lot of people like to swing their leg all the way up. About hip height is where I want you right now. And then press through the heel to lower. Point to lift, press to lower. Point and press. So you'll notice, haven't lost my little mouse house even as I'm moving that foot. So that is key. Point and press. My abdominals are engaged to help maintain that neutral position. Oh, I got a little off there. And that's really important. So I'm scooping up and out, okay, to help maintain that neutral spine for 3. And press. For 2. and press, and 1, and press. Now hold that leg up. Don't lose your mouse house. Little circles forward and forward. So what we're looking for is that those hips aren't rocking all over the place. You're scooping up and in, and you're maintaining control. For 3, 2, and 1. Hold and reverse. Don't lose that mouse house. Reverse. For 5 and 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold. Okay, bottom leg comes to meet the top. Don't lose the mouse house. Keep pushing that hip away. And both lower together. Top leg lifts, bottom leg lifts, and lower. Up, up, and down. Up, up, and down. And this may take practice, and that's okay. Only way to get better. And lower. This time we lift together, we lower together. Lift together and lower. We're simultaneously pushing that hip away from the shoulder to keep and maintain that mouse house. For last 2, and lower, and 1. Lower. Good. Now from here, take that top leg and bend it. Place that foot in front of the knee or thigh of that bottom leg. Okay, and you can slightly turn out if you need to. Now, press through the heel of that bottom leg. Make sure the inseam of your pants is directly towards the ceiling. Okay, don't let your foot kind of turn out or whatever. You want the inseam straight up, so that inner thigh straight towards the ceiling. Don't lose the mouse house. And we're going to lift that lower leg and hover. Don't bring it all the way down. Lift and hover. Tummy tight here, so we're working the inner thighs again. Lift and lower. Shoulders relaxed. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it there. Now you're at your highest point. Try to get it ½ inch higher with control. No jerkiness. 8 and 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and release. Now, while we're in this position, okay, I'm going to have you bend your bottom knee as well so that your heels, like your bottom foot is kind of hugging around the top foot, okay? So you've created this, I don't know, it's kind of like a diamond. I don't know. This one's kind of hard to cue, but I like where we're transitioning. So keep those legs where they are and bring yourself up so that you're balancing on your arm here. Now, you can lengthen the legs out a little bit so they're not bent quite as much. That will be to your benefit. If they're too close in, it's a little too difficult. So just a little ways out. Now, we're going to go into a side bend series. Shoulder out of the ear, really important. Bring that top arm on top of that knee and palm up towards the ceiling, tummy tight. Take an inhale. Exhale, I want you to press your hips up towards the ceiling. Keep your hips squared towards, I'm assuming you're facing me or whatever direction you're facing. So don't let the hips roll towards the ceiling or towards the floor. And then we come down. Take an inhale. Exhale, we press up, pressing out of that shoulder that we're pressing up and off with. Push those hips up a little more. And inhale down. And exhale, lengthen, lift. And inhale down. For 4, try to find that lengthening of the side. And 3, down. And 2, last one, hold. Push those hips up a little higher, press out of that hand. And release. Very good. Switch it around. And then go ahead and come onto your side, on the other side. And again, start with those legs nice in alignment. You're trying to kind of get your body to be parallel with the mat. Okay. And then from here, we hinge, so those feet come more towards the corner of the mat, so it's a little bit wider position. Push that top hip away, find your mouse house. Do your best not to keep your chin tucked the whole time. Look straight ahead. Okay, and then from here, we point to lift, press to lower. Point and press. Point and press. So again, we're trying to push that hip really actively away. Okay, that's how we get deeper into the muscles. Woo. Sometimes I struggle to talk and coordinate my feet with this one for some reason. But we're really trying to engage all the side muscles, the glute medius here. It does feel kind of crampy and painful a little bit, and that means it's working, okay? If you experience a lot of cramping, that generally means it's weak. Your muscle's like, wait, what the heck? Like, I don't work. This isn't how things work, okay? So we have to kind of retrain them to say, yes, you are going to work. So push that top hip away for 3 and press. 2 and top hand can be in front, and 1, and hold it at about hip height, point through the toe, lengthen that leg like crazy. Keep the hips stable as we circle and circle. So the movement is happening in the socket, not from the hip wobbling all over the place. 3, 2, and 1, hold, and reverse, reverse for 5, and 4, 3, 2, 1, hold, shoulder down, mouse house stays, and we lift both feet up and we lower together. Top leg lifts, bottom leg meets it, and we lower. Try not to rock all over the place. Scooping the belly up and out will help with that. And lower. 2 more. Lift, lift, and lower. Shoulders relaxed. Lift, lift, and lower. This time we go together, we lift together and lower together. Have you lost your mouse house? Push that top hip away. For 4 and lower. For 3 and lower. 2, you don't have to go that high. Last 1 and lower. Top leg bends. You place that foot in front of the thigh or knee of the bottom leg. Bottom leg is extended, inseam towards the ceiling. We press through that heel, and we lift and lower. Lift, try to hover. So this side is where I have kind of my hip groin issue. So for me, I have very limited range of motion, and I'm very careful about doing this because it's easy for me to strain. So if you can go higher, go higher. I'm able to on the other side. So if you notice like, oh, she's not doing much on this side, it's intentional because, again, I'm listening to my body. So I'm just finding kind of that little bitty hover, enough to find the engagement without finding a place where I feel pain, okay? For 4, have you lost your mouse house? Find it again. For 3 and 2, last 1, hold it at the top, okay? You're at your highest point, try to bring it half inch higher, 8 and 7, tummy tight, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring that leg down from here. Bend the bottom knee, so then that knee comes kind of more forward. So the knees are almost kind of stacked, but obviously apart. And then bring yourself up to a seated position. Push those feet out a little ways from you. It'll make it easier to transition. Hand can be just slightly in front of the shoulder. Other hand palm up, resting on that knee towards the ceiling. Broaden through the collarbone, tummy tight. Take an inhale. Exhale. We lengthen, lift, press those hips towards the ceiling. And we inhale, lower. And exhale, lift, pressing up and out of that hand that we're balancing on. And lower. Exhale, lengthen, lift, and lower. For 3, and down. 2, and down. Last 1, hold it here for a moment. Try to push those hips a little higher. Make sure that your hips are squaring towards the direction you're facing, not rolling forward or back. For 2, and release. Very good. Just check the time here. All right, let's go ahead. I want to actually do some hamstring work. 45 minutes go so fast before we wrap up. So go ahead and bring yourself back down. And this time, I want you to walk your heels a little ways away from your booty. So you get to control how challenging you want this to be, okay? So, start at a place where you're like, oh, I think my heels are a ways from my butt, and then you can decide from there. Now, again, make sure you've got alignment. So knees are still directly under the hips, not going wider than or narrower than. Pay attention to that. Hands down by your sides, palms up towards the ceiling. Tummy tight. Take an inhale. Exhale, squeeze and lift. Inhale, tap. Exhale, squeeze and lift. Now the key here is that you're really squeezing from the back, finding that full range of motion and not letting your knees collapse towards one another. You will start to feel the back of the legs, okay, which is your hamstrings. Most people's hamstrings are fairly weak, okay? So we need to practice working on them. They're either usually weak and they're usually tight, okay? So if you're like, I'm not really feeling much yet, walk those feet a little further away. The further your feet go away, or further your feet are away from your booty, the more challenging it is because we're creating a longer lever, which requires the hamstrings to stabilize more. Okay. Exhale, squeeze, lift. So we're getting a little bit of booty work here too, but you should primarily now, because our heels are further away, be feeling it in the hamstrings. For 8 and 7, toes are forward. 6, tummy's tight, don't arch the back. For 4 and 3, 2, last one, hold it up, little pulses, up, up, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and release it down. Good. Grab your band. And if you don't have one, you can do a stretch without it, but we're going to do a hamstring stretch. Place your right foot in the band, center of the band. Find a straight leg. So if you're not super flexible, that's fine. Find the straight leg first and press into that heel more. From there, do your best to keep your legs straight as you draw your toes a little closer towards your butt. I recommend lengthening out the other leg. So sometimes people do this, their knees are super bent because they're not very flexible, and they don't feel anything in the hamstring because all they're doing is just flexing more in the hip. And I need you to find the length first, and then find that point where you're like, oh, can't go any further, and maybe it's here. For people who have super tight hamstrings, that's fine, but find the straight leg first, and then start to pull it closer up. Because again, there's some people that are super hypermobile in their hips, which means like they can flex that hip as far as bringing that thigh towards their face all day and not feel anything in their hamstring, okay? So when you have to lengthen and you press through the heel, it requires the hamstring and the calf muscle, for that matter, to lengthen. And that's what I want right now. I don't care how close the toes go towards the face. And obviously you can facilitate a deeper stretch by pulling more on that band. Obviously listen to your body, don't overdo it. You don't want to strain anything. And then go ahead and allow that right leg to open out to the right, but keep your left hip down, so you should feel that inner thigh stretch. And bring it back to center, and then allow that leg or that foot to come across the center body or body center line, maybe 6 inches. And you should feel that outer thigh kind of hip stretch. Don't go, a lot of times people do this all the way, and then they roll their hip and they don't really get the stretch. So it's not so much about the range of motion about this one, it's kind of where your body's positioned. Bring it back to center, let's switch sides. Left foot in, right leg lengthens out. Again, find that straight leg first, pressing through the heel. Don't let it bend, and then start to pull it towards your face. And again, if you want to increase the intensity, you can choke up on your band and kind of pull that foot or toes closer towards your face, creating a deeper flex in the ankle. And then go ahead and open out to the side. Don't let that right hip lift. Keep it grounded for that inner thigh stretch. And bring it across the body about 6 inches, feeling that outer thigh hip stretch. Bring it back to center and carefully release. And bring your hands behind your thighs and again roll up a few times and back, massaging out the spine. And then come up and hold. Come to a cross-leg position, facing me if possible. Sitting up nice and tall, hands down by your sides. Take a deep inhale, circle the arms up. And exhale. Again, deep inhale. And exhale. One more time, deepest breath you've taken all day. Bring your hands down through heart center and give yourself a little round of applause. Excellent work, you guys. Thank you so much. If you live in the Ann Arbor, Saline area and you want to join me for outdoor Pilates on Thursday at 12:10, it's supposed to be lovely out, maybe a little warm, get a little tan, whatever, but wear sunscreen. Let me know. You can DM me and I can give you the details. Otherwise, you can also find them on, or find the information on my Facebook page, which you should have access to because you're watching me. But if you're not sure about it, just send me a message and we'll get it all sorted. So thank you guys so much. Take care, stay safe, and I'm sending positive thoughts out into the world today. So take care.